All right, back with another video on a very frequently asked question that we get in this hobby is, where do you store everything? Now that you can see we finally have everything out of the yard and off of the house, you get to see my boring house again. Don't get me wrong, we love our house, but in this hobby, we get used to seeing everybody's shows at nighttime. So I remember seeing Tom at George's house the first time during the day, and I was shocked because I was like, man, I just envisioned it differently in my mind. So usually we'd just see it dark and we see the lights. So wanted to show you that, as I've been asked that a couple times before, and then really I'm going to take you in the garage and show you A, where we store everything, and then B, maybe some tips and tricks on things that we've learned to not only store it nicely, but then also to make your life easier next year when setting up. Because I promise you, you think you're going to remember stuff, but you don't. So make it easy on yourself and set up next year. So to the garage, I'll show you behind the scenes a little bit more in there. Shout out David Peace. Here's my cats for you. Okay, bud? Now that's out of the way. So these are my secret weapons. These garage racks. 1, 2, 3, 4. I installed number 2 and 3 this year in preparation for the driveway matrix. I'll get to that in a second. But other than that, take extra time labeling, putting stuff away, OCDing a little bit. You'll thank yourself next year, promise. So even like this, I have everything labeled, mounting hardware. I have 4 seeing trees. This is tree 1 hardware, marking it. What is tree 1? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's number 1. So mounting hardware for that. Here we've got P stakes 1 of 2, P stakes 2 of 2. I just pull it out of the rebar to the ground, store them all right there. Same thing. Even on this, I've measured, so I don't have to do the calculations next year, how far they were back this year, where they were placed. Here's the curb, measurement back, 21.5 between P stakes, and that's literally the measurement of that wood. So I can just next year know my starting point, have this wood block, plop the other one down. It'll go a lot quicker. Here we've got extensions, and the brains of the operation. I might be a little overkill, but look at all the, this mess. Next year, I put the female and the male heads together, and I label every single one. If it worked this year and it's the right length, why try to get crazy with it next year if you don't have to? So this is for my arches 1 and 2, left side of the house. So I know that moving forward for next year. Over here, we've got 4 smaller spiral trees, 4 bigger spiral trees. These are in my front yard. And they're nice because the base is here, and then you've got these sticks, 2 of them, and then they just kind of collapse in, and I can make them smaller, and they fit very nicely. So that's 4. That's 4. We've got 8 done. 2 totes. This is kind of a catch-all with F-amps, pigtails, extra pixels. Still actually have a good 1,500 or so pixels we didn't use. Some more extensions. And then later, if I'm building something next year, I can just know what tote to go grab if needs be. Over here, that is our controller box build if we need another more control boxes. Permatrack for this year. Next year, maybe I'll get around to installing that, as I didn't this year. We've got our pillars right there. Those will go up nicely on that rack back there on top of some of the totes. So 1, 2, 3 cones, Tune 2 sign, and this is the driveway matrix connectors that will go the length. So each one of these had 30 in between the rows. So I had to undo those. Literally labeled some of the ones that were cut down a little bit because they weren't all identical. So I know where they go next year. Control boxes, 5 MOAs, singing trees. Now this is, I won't say it's unique, but I love how we mount or hold up our matrices. So I have these roof racks that are in there, and then I hook Some of these already have the carabiners. That's how we mount this matrix to the house. But when I don't, you can see up there, another carabiner, and all 4. This is our 2 for our second car. This is our third car garage. This is a matrix in between the windows. Perfectly even off the ground just a little bit so they don't get all crunchy or bendy for the year. And it maximizes that space. And then I'll put stuff on the ground here and it'll hold up against the house pretty good. In this corner, those are all our window frames. On PVC, I can undo the buckling or the coupling on the corners and they fold up nicely. Good use of space in the corner. Otherwise, nothing else would have gone there. This is the garage matrix, or the driveway matrix rather, the Meridian matrix, all up there. And everybody was asking, it's 30 feet long. How are you going to, store that bad boy? Well, 30 feet, but every 10 feet, I had T's or coupling. So I was able to just disconnect at the 10 points. One here, one here, one here. The right and left one kind of fold into the middle, and it was nice 3-piece section in these little bundles, and they go all the way down for that. So up out of the way, don't have to touch it ever again until next year. Our 8 arches up on this one. Overhang a little bit, but the garage door will come up right above that. We've got the spacing, and it'll be great because, again, out of the way, don't have to worry about it. So I'll do another video here. I just want to show you, I'll come back in a little bit once they're all up, out of the way, so you can kind of see what that looks like. But again, I mean, I have these zip locks for left tree guy wires, or just very specific. So next year, I know exactly what I'm looking at. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'll come back and show you kind of everything put away and hopefully a clean garage. Boom, just like that, we have a clean garage. Wish it was that easy. But everything's up, ready to have both cars back in, which will be nice. We've got 3 totes up there, bunch of extra totes we didn't end up using. These are all the matrices, PVC frames I showed you before. These are our 2 mega trees. We got one is a 4x4 treated piece of lumber, and then the other, the ASAP pole, the winch right there. Put the sandbags away. Still plenty of room to get car in and out without, foot or tripping over anything like that. I have the mega tree. I disassemble it from the ASAP pole and the 4x4, and that's a topper, and they just hang, come all the way down here, hang, and then they end right about there. So they're still up off the floor. That's probably the ugliest part of my putting everything away, but it works. And again, it's out of the way. The portable hole, big old thing of cement, again, just up against the wall. This is that 180 piece of plywood that we see on the right mega tree. So a lot of that is up against the wall. Be able to get the wife's car in right there. Saw from the last video, again, that is the driveway matrix, the Meridian matrix, up off the ground. We've got the 8 leaping arches. I put the MOAs, the wreaths that are inside our windows right there. All our traffic cones. And if we come over here, we've got some of our control boxes, which I'm gonna come up a little bit closer to get you another angle of, just so you can see all that fun stuff. And if we come over here, this is the big, boom, just kidding. Oh man, he looked deformed right there. Keep him out to freak out the wife if she's working here at nighttime in her shop. But again, extensions, 4 big spiral trees, P-stakes, mounting props, light pole, and then the pillars, they're back there on top of the totes. So this one has tons of stuff in it. Still some good room over there. This one's got a lot of good stuff. But again, we'll get both cars in here, no problem. We've got almost 20,000 pixels, lots of props up off the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4 ceiling racks. And then one side of the, hey cat, off with the matrix right there. So hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions on storage. But until next video.